Here we go. So again, these are compositions of transformations. And this is a discovery example, so you'll see in a minute what you can use with the try button, okay? So this says determine a series of transformations that would map T onto figure U. So again, we're doing compositions of transformations, which just mean two or more compositions. But we're going to do just two. So we're using two different transformations to get from what? T to U. Okay? So, it's not going to be just one translation, one rotation, one reflection. It's going to be a combination of two. So again, I'm still going to kind of think of it the same way. So here's, A. So I think this is A prime. I'm sorry. No. This is A prime. Back here. I think this is B, and I think this is B prime. I think that's C, and that's C prime. So I think you can see that. Should we rotate this figure? This way. That'd be a 180 rotation. Well, if we rotate that figure, I think A is going to come over here, and B is going to come over here. That would not be quite right. Okay. So I don't think this is going to involve a rotation, even though you might think so. I think that maybe we could reflect this guy down. What if we reflected it down? Then A would be down here, B would be down here, C would be here. So I think that this is going to require an x-axis reflection. So I'm going to fill that in as my first transformation over the x-axis. And then watch what I can do. I'm going to delete the drawings. I can press the try button. It'll show me what happens. So look at that. I think that that's pretty good because look at my orientation now. It looks like my two figures are oriented the same way. The only thing I need to do now is I need to translate my points to the left. Looks like I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Left 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Left 8. And there we go. So that I think is going to be my second, followed by a translation left 8 units. Let's clear our drawing. And now let's try this together. So there's the reflection and there's the translation. And we did it. You are correct. Now press submit. Now typically I always think of the first one is going to be the reflection or the rotation. And then the second one is going to be my translation. Now this software does have problems where you translate first and then reflect, rotate, but I think you can still reflect or rotate first and then translate. So that's how I'm going to teach it to you each time. Okay. But it says you are correct. I'm going to submit that. Okay. And see, look, they did the translation first and then the reflection second. They are not wrong. You are not wrong. Okay. But again, I like to do the reflection rotation, the hard part first, and then slide it onto the second figure second. Let's try another one of these. Okay, here's our second question here. So now, again, we have to determine a series of transformations that would map B onto C. So again, here is my figure B. I know for a fact that this is A and that would be A prime. It looks like this would be B and that would be B prime and so on. So this would be C prime and that's C. Okay, so how am I going to get over there? Okay, so it looks like this time, if I were to, I don't know, rotate? If I were to rotate this way, I think that I would get this figure to be oriented the right way. I'd get C down here, I'd get B here, I'd get A in here, which would be the same way. Now it looks like I might be able to also reflect that way. But this is different software in the terms of you can't do like multiple reflections or you can't do multiple translations. So they want you to use two different ones. So I think that the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate. And it looks like I go 1, 2 quadrants. So 2 quadrants, that's 290 degrees. That's going to be 180 degrees. So that's what my first try is going to be. I'm going to try to rotate this 180 degrees counterclockwise. So let me get rid of this. And again, you just got to play with it. I'm going to rotate 180 degrees. It doesn't matter clockwise, counterclockwise when you do 180. And let's try it. And as you can see, look at how this happened, right? So now let's say this point, A, Here's A prime. How do I get down there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go 5 down. Let's call this B. Let's call this B prime. How do we get down there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just have to go down 5 now. Now I can just translate down 5, followed by a translation down 5 units. I'm going to get that out of the way. Let's try it. If we're wrong, right? Rotation, translation. And there you go. Nice. And it says you are correct. You may press submit. I'll definitely do that. And again, I want to show you what they did. They did their translation first, and then they did their rotation, right? No big deal. We're both correct. So again, I just like to try to think about how can I make um, the figure oriented the right way. So then I just have to translate it. Okay. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the second type of problems. It's the same thing, except instead of discovery, you can't do the discovery part anymore. You have to, get it right by yourself. So let's take a look at what that means. All right, so this is not a guided one. It's the same thing, but it's not guided. So you'll see down at the bottom, you're not allowed to try. All right, so this is probably what you're going to see in your test. Sorry. But again, I got to test you. I got to hold you to some standard. So determine a series of transformations that would map P onto Q. So P is down here, Q is here. So let's call this A. I'm going to say that this is A prime. This is B. Let's say this is B prime. And then this is C. Let's call this C prime. So in my opinion, a reflection is not going to help me, because if I reflect across the x-axis, A is going to come way up here, and I want A and B, and then B is going to be here. So that would not, they'd be backwards, right? So we're not going to do reflection. So I think this is going to involve a rotation. So if I look like this, I wish that C, B, and A could all rotate that way. And I think it's just going to be one turn, which would be 90 degrees counterclockwise. So I think that's my first thing I'm going to pick. 90 degrees counterclockwise. Rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay. So now I want to use the rule, and I want to actually find some of the coordinates. So 90 degrees counterclockwise means that XY is going to go to X and Y switch, and the first coordinate becomes opposite, not both. So opposite of Y, X. So let's take a look at some coordinates. So I called this A. This was at 4, -7. So it's going to become -7, 4, but the -7 turns positive. So 4, -7 becomes -7, 4, but the first one is opposite. So that should be 7, 4. There's A prime. There's A moved. This is B. B is at 8, -3. So again, they'll switch, and the first one becomes opposite. So that's 3, 8. And there's B. And you can see what's happening here, right? These two have to become, let me erase that, was not very good. These two have to move to these 2 points. So now after I rotate, I have to move left, 1, 2, 3, 4, left, 4. Left, 4. So that's a translation. So when I come down here, I will have to go translation left 4 units. I'll submit that answer. Okay, I'm hoping. Yes. So there's my rotation, and there's my translation to the left. And that's exactly the same thing I did. Again, if they did the translation first and then the rotation, it would just be fine and dandy. Okay. All right. So again, with these problems, especially on these ones, I could see you struggling because you only get one shot at it, right? Now, you do get 2 tries in your homework. But again, you don't get to try like you do in the other one. So make sure you really practice the discovery ones before you enter into this group. Okay. All right. Best of luck on this homework assignment. Have fun with it, right? Try some things out. All right.